Attack the enemy! Victory is ours!
Hello everybody, welcome back for another War Thunder video. Today, as you can see, I'm obviously not in the M163, so it'll take a moment to get to the part where I am the lone M163 with a lot of air cast assets overhead, so just stick with me, bear with me, it's worth it. In the meantime, I started in my M551 Sheridan here, and I'm rolling on up to the A point, as I am wont to do when I get this map. So, trying to speed on ahead, and I'll take the A point if I can get there, and if not, I'll roll around the edges and try to fire missiles into any enemies that I encounter. Now, as I'm rolling into close contact with potentially, well, with Soviets, but potentially close contact, rather, I'm rolling up and I switch to my heat shells so that I can more or less fire and forget them, and at these kinds of close ranges I'm using, they'll actually be pretty effective. So that's why I switched over to the heat rounds there. Plus, I hadn't used the heat rounds in quite a while, and I wanted to see what kind of effective round they might be anymore, because I just about exclusively fire shillelaghs out of my Sheridan anymore. And I kind of lucked out there with the first strike, because, well, caught myself an ASU-57 rolling up a bridge. Now, right as I come up here, you can see obviously an enemy tank around the corner here. Now I managed to wound his driver, and he took mine out and broke my track, and I broke his track. Well, he damaged my track, and I broke his, rather, so we traded. I blacked out his track and redded out his driver, and he blacked out my driver and redded out my track. And then, that wascally Wussian woke my twack again. So while I'm reloaded up with the heat round, the other thing I was thinking about for the heat rounds is I don't have to guide them afterwards. So if I were to get killed while my missile is in the air, at least this time it won't be a missile, it'll be a shell, and it should presumably still hit the target. So he's rolling up again after he's got himself out of the way to... And as he drives up a little farther, I finish off his poor driver with the heat round, but then I switch back over to the shillelaghs to try and finish him off. So I'm figuring I'm dead here with the amount of time it's taken for me to reload. And he somehow doesn't kill me right there. But he did take out my loader and my commander, and then he deploys smoke. So I'm trying to just keep him marked so hopefully the team knows he's coming. And then a missile flies past me and kills him. And this T-62 here wins the award for maybe not the best paying attention in this battle. So, put some smoke up to camouflage myself here while I'm finishing up my repair. Let the team know where he is, because I'm pretty sure I'm about not going to last much longer, and then I get taken out by a T-62 from just up the road, who in turn gets taken out very quickly thereafter. So I debated bringing in the Sabre or the F-8 F-1B, but decided that the ground battle wasn't quite in hand well enough yet, so I went with my M60A1 as my second spawn vehicle here to head back and continue the fight at the A point, where the fighting is pretty hot so far. Also, you may not see in the bottom right there, but that name Erwin Roffel, that's hilarious. Also, I should have pointed out at the start of the video, I meant to do this, watch in the kill feed for Dragon 2324 for the rest of the battle, because he has himself quite a game. There he is, he's right there in that M551 that I'm just driving past. So as I'm coming up to the bridge here, I notice that my random squad mate, Sleepy, is repairing. So like a true American, I'm going to roll up the last possible second, throw the repair on, and help the British and claim ultimate victory, and that it was all due to me. You're welcome, you British people, you. America. And then totally ignore the fact that he gets killed right afterwards. Sorry about that, Sleepy. Wish I'd gotten there a little bit sooner and you could have backed away. But as he was destroyed, I back off, hoping that whatever killed him didn't see me behind him, and it'll then drive forward and I'll be able to get a shot at it. And in a moment when that doesn't happen, I'm going to roll forward and try to go around the A point again. So whatever it is that killed him wasn't in easy sight there. I'm going to continue pushing forward. And you can hear the enemy that killed him rolling up there behind, which I can hear as well. So I'm tracking him on the other sides of the buildings. And there he is. Now I did enough damage to his breach here somehow, or someone else did, but when he fired, he blew his gun barrel, which really is what saved me here. And then a minor application of Hesh later, and that's a T-62 down. Now the M19 in front of me just got taken out by an IS-3, so I'm going to try and creep up on him and see what I can do about that. I know there's an IS-3 up here somewhere close by. It appears he has turned and gone down the alleyway to the left. So I'm going to continue rolling around here and try to get in behind him, hit him from the other side. This looks like a likely enough alley. Let's go this way. So trying to come in behind the IS-3 here. Not really sure where he's gotten off to. And you'll notice on the mini-map, someone's being marked near the A point. We're taking the A point. We'll watch directly up ahead, right about where my gun cursor is pointing right now. In just a moment, someone's going to take a hit over there and get marked. There he is. So you can see that shot that went through and hit him also took that building down. So I know there's an enemy over there somewhere, so I'm watching that way. And then I can hear other enemies coming. Now, that was unfortunate shot placement. A microsecond earlier or later, and I would have hit on either side of his barrel rather than hitting his barrel. And of course, if he didn't have a friend T-62 coming up behind him, that also would have went better for me, but... Anyway, knocked out. Either side of the turret of the gun on that first T-62, and I would have done some damage to him. But oh well. So now we've got all 3 points captured, or we're about to have all 3 points captured. So this is time I decided to bring in the F8 F1B for a little bit of cast and air support to help the team hold the 3 points. So that is why I did not come back in a tank this time. And we're nearly at the M163 bit, so bear with me just a little bit longer. I promise it will be worth it. So A is being taken, so I'm pushing in towards A again. A is generally a hotbed of activity on this map. Pretty hard to beat. But there, we've taken him out, the guy that was taking it. And rolling over here, and there's a Su-6 coming at me. Get a pretty good hit on him with my fire hose launching stock cannons on this. He takes me out, takes my wing off, and I'm gonna kind of glide it on in gently to these mountains here. And yeah, did get an air kill at least. And here we go with the M163. Now, I'm not the only ground player left on our team, so we aren't quite there yet. You'll see we've got 2 tanks left, and only 3 airplanes at the moment. Now, we just lost the M18 over the A point, so we're down to 1 other tank besides me, and he's the chieftain over at the C point. Oh yes, and this battle was from the 26th of May, so it has also been sitting in my to work on folder for quite a while. Alright, the chieftain's taken out, and we now arrive at the events referenced in the video title. I'm now the only ground unit left on my team for the rest of this battle, though I do have a lot of CAS air assets on my side here. Now, starting with that ZSU-57 that Sleepy just killed, count how many kills they get from here on till the end of the battle. So I ran into that rock there because I was watching Mac Daddy and the B-57 go by, and I was trying to keep an eye on his tail to make sure he wasn't being chased by an enemy fighter, and I ended up running into the rocks, but that's what happened there. So the enemy tanks are taking the A point, and if you look right here, you can see that I've got 5 air assets up with me, and each one of them, more importantly, has a ground attack capability. That is the key point. All 5 of these guys are able to attack ground units. And that makes all the difference in this battle. There's two of my guys chasing a MiG-9 who's chasing our B-57, just flew overhead. There's another one taken out at A. Now that was the last guy who was at A, was just knocked out. And there's my... We had really good communication going on here too, between air to ground and ground to air as well, which also made a big difference in the battle. The team did pretty well communicating. So I'm rolling in as unexpectedly a direction as I possibly can here to get out on the A point. And I ended up finding a pretty good little spot here, which I wasn't previously aware of. Rather well suited for the M163. So parked there at first and then realized that if anything does come around that corner, I can't get out of the way quickly. So I'm going to realign myself where I can point my gunner in his little top turret here down the little alleyway I've got in case anything comes up there, and then also be able to speed away out of view if I can. An enemy gets marked coming down the bridge there towards A, so I mark him and let the team know that I'm going to stay here as long as I can, boys, but I'm out of here if he shows up. Because unless he's some kind of light SPAA, which he's not, it was a heavy as it was marked, I can't do anything against it. Anything short of, like, or anything larger rather than the quad MG Russian low-tier SPAA is pretty much dangerous to me, so I'm getting the heck out of Dodge, running away from A. And as soon as I leave the point, they're in the point and capturing it. So, heavy tank has made his way into the A point, and I'm out of here. And like Sleepy said, run, stay alive, because I'm the only one left on the ground that can do anything now. We're not... Our team can win without me by destroying all the enemies, but it'll be a lot more difficult and it'll take a lot longer. And it will become a big hurry-up proposition if they're down to... if they start taking all the points away and we start bleeding tickets. So there's the IS-6, the heavy that was at A is knocked out, so I'm going to haul a 180 and go right back into A. Let the team know so they can give me some overhead cover. And the enemy team is now moved in on B and taking B away from us, so taking A back is even more important. Because we are bleeding tickets. And whatever's at B, the odds are I cannot fight against it very effectively, so... At least I know A should be empty. So back into this little tucked away hidey hole here. Take the A point, and then again get the heck back out of Dodge, because sitting still is not a great idea here. Though moving is not exactly a safe proposition either, especially in something this big. You definitely stand out moving, but there's a pretty good amount of cover across this map. So there were down to 2 enemies left. I don't know what's at B. I'm a bit concerned, because if it's heading towards A, which it should be, I'm likely to run into it. And that's likely to not end well for me. Especially with ticket deficit going on. Well, not a ticket deficit, but a ticket bleed going on. We've got more tickets, but it won't be that way much longer. So I'm cautiously rolling up to B, and the enemy at B, which was the T-44-100, gets annihilated in a plume of water. And I'm on my way into B to take it. Though I don't know at this point that he is the only thing at the B point, but he was. Alright, so now, as I'm rolling up to B, watch down in the bottom right there. Okay, you see Sleepy just crashed out in his attacker. Now, as I roll up into the B capture point within the circle and pull up and stop hidden behind these rocks, watch the chat on the bottom left. It's pretty funny. got the ticket bleed stopped right about even with tickets with theirs. And now the chat should be coming up in just a second. Air assets circling overhead. They had quite the protective umbrella over the top of me for the entire time that I was in the M163, and that is pretty awesome. Got one enemy left. And he's obviously at A because he's taking A. And he's no longer taking A because our cast took him out again. So I'm heading to C. I actually missed him getting killed at A at first here. I didn't notice that he'd been taken out. So I'm heading to C because I thought once he captures A, he'll head to B. Although it turns out that he was the end and they'd lost everything. So by my count, my CAS assets over the top of me scored 8 tank and 3 air kills from the point that I became the only ground asset on our side. And that is just some simply amazing work. Great job, guys. Great job. And they allowed me to get 4 captures, which was also not a terrible thing either. So as you can see the score, now this is obviously from a while ago because I was researching the T95E1, but there's my score, 9,000 research for all those captures. There's the team. Excellent work, everyone. Everybody at the top. Dragon with 9 tank kills. Coming off on the top of the team there for tank kills. And there's the awards, and I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I thought it was a pretty neat match, and it's not too often you get to survive that long on the ground with just a very lightly armored SPAA, and then end up winning. So, see you guys next time. Thanks for checking this one out. Have a great day.